Oh, here I am. Okay, welcome back. I am so sorry, folks. I went through a move recently, and it looks like all of my settings kind of got jumbled in the move. So I I apologize for that, but again, I appreciate your patience, and we do have some really good lists today that I'm excited to cover. So as soon as I'm able to get this going. So technical standpoint, what happened was it had me change to a different resolution, and then that's why the video was so bad. And then it is also why everything was all jumbled, and we got the brilliant forehead cam. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So how's chat doing? List hype. I agree, Pulp. Thanks for being here, man. Still working on this. Oh, that's because it's all the way down there. Great. Okay, so stream scuffed tonight. I apologize. There's not much else I can do about it right now. I will try and fix it as we go. But I'm going to get into things. I don't want to keep people waiting. I apologize again for the technical malfunctions. It's just kind of, you know, where it is. Let me try one more thing, and then we will get going with this. We'll do this. We'll do that. Resolution. We want to make it the same as the stream. Nope, didn't work. Okay, cool. So we are going to deal with this, and I'm going to walk you through some lists, and I'm going to switch back and forth between Facecam and what I've got going on over here, just to let you guys know what I'm thinking about different lists. How is everybody doing? You know, I hope you guys had a good Monday so far. I did as well. Work kicked my butt a little bit, but it is a-okay. All right. So, fantastic. Okay, so before I get into talking about different lists, I want to go over and review how to submit Army lists. So the way that we're going to submit Army lists is in our community tab for Wednesday Night Warhammer. There's a post that I have made, and I will continuously update. And I will edit. What I want you to do is post your list in that community tab. If you're a member, you're going to go straight to the front of the line. And I'm still going to spread the love. Even if we have 8 gazillion members, I'll do like 3 members and 4 non-members or something. But if you don't want to wait the 2 to 3 weeks that it looks like our queue is going to be on, go ahead and post your list in there, and then buy W&W a cup of coffee. Just join us as being members, and we will make sure that you get up there a little bit more. Okay. So awesome. Xenotail, you're having a good day. I'm really happy to hear that. Okay, cool. So you will see in a second, I'm going to go to out of here. We will go to, okay, our first list, I believe, is CommunistColin. And please let me know, make sure that you can hear me okay. You're not going to be able to see me during this scene, but kind of is what it is, you know, for today. I think this is CommunistColin. When I was transferring over the list, there was one list name that was deleted, but I'm pretty sure this is his list. So CommunistColin, If this is your list, awesome. We're going to review it. If not, resubmit it and just let me know in the community tab, and I'll make sure that you get up front for next list review. Okay, so going over his list, we have a Vanguard Onslaught detachment, which is super cool. That's one of my favorite detachments for sure. Starting off, we have the Flyrant with Chameleonic, which is a great shout for sure. Broodlord with Neuronode, a Neuro Tyrant, Wing Prime, 2 10-man Gargoyles, 3 10-man Hormagaunts, very interesting, 1 10-man Gene Stealers, 1 6-man Melee Warriors, 1 6-man Zoanthropes, 1x3 Leapers, the Von Ryans variety, I'm sure, Biovore, 1 Moloch, Lictor, Exocrine, and Tyrant effects. And let's see what he has to say about his list before we get into it. Basic idea is that I will expand and castle onto one side objective and hose down the other side objective in waves of chaff to deny primary. After a few games, Guard Gaunt Jail has worked incredibly well for 2 to 3 turns of primary denial. If they commit to that side to clear my chaff, then I'm going to castle objective. If they ignore it, then they run into my big beady units, and I hold this side objective with the chaff. Just wondering if I have enough anti-tank. I'm going to have to be pretty careful with my big bugs and remember to use Surprise Assault on my warriors. I agree. Surprise Assault on the warriors is a fantastic shout, and that is a good idea. So what I would do is I think I am a fan of Gargoyle, and I am also a fan of Hormagaunt Jail. I will 100% agree with you. However, I think there is a case that we definitely have too much of our a jail. We have 50 Gaunts, which is very cool. I think that's awesome. I think Gargoyles and Hormagaunts are great. However, I don't think we need 50 bodies of them. So what I would personally recommend is the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut down on 2 of those Hormagaunt squads. So let's do that. Boom, boom. And that will give us 130 points. Now, however, if we do that, and I'm keeping track way better on points this week as well. So if we do that, we're down to 1/10. Okay. And that will give us 130 points because 65 points left over. And this is 130 right here. And there's a couple of things that I think you could do next. He said he is also worried about anti-tank. Well, you have 2 very strong anti-tank options with your Tyrant effects, as well as your Zoanthropes right here. Just sweet. That's very, very, very good. However, I always kind of play by a rule of thumb where if I'm running some kind of artillery or some kind of monster gun line, I don't want to just have one. And the reason why I don't want to just have one is because I want to be able to bring my monster gun line or whatever come out. And not for, if that one monster is absolutely decimated in one turn, I don't want that to be like the end of my gunfire. Okay. So if I'm running an Exocrine or if I'm running a Tyranifex, I want to run at least 2 of those. Okay. And in Vanguard Onslaught, I think an Exocrine, like 2 Exocrines, and then Zoanthropes, I think that is a great combo piece because Zoanthropes are going to be hitting on 2s, and then with the reroll 1s, it's really going to help you, to just get incredible efficiency. What's up, Fire Drake? Yeah, man. So with 130 points from the 2 Hormagaunts, and I think he was right on 2,000 points. So we don't have an incredible amount of leeway. We also only have 1 Lictor. All right. Fans of the Army List review show will know that I am not super, super, super excited about the Moloch, especially if you only have 1 of them. So in addition to cutting 2 Hormagaunts, we're gonna cut a Moloch, and I apologize if that is if that's a deal breaker, because I do know that some people are heavy Moloch stands. So that's going to give us 275 points right here. 275. And so things that I'm really interested in doing here, we want to focus our anti-tank, and we either want to focus it into the Tyranifex package or the Zoanthrope package, because we kind of have both right now, and it's almost that point where it's like, let's kind of nail it down. So me personally, right now, if we're worried about anti-tank, I am going to cut the Zoanthropes. Well, let's see if we need to first. What I want to do is I want to add another Tyranifex, and then basically so much extra scoring chaff, which will allow for CommunistColin, I believe who that is, to still keep in mind the gargoyle or Hormigaunt jail. So we're gonna duplicate the Tyranifex. We'll have one exocrine here. Ooh, actually, before we duplicate the Tyranifex, I'm going to duplicate the exocrine. I think you don't leave home without double exocrine. If you're going to do a gun line, you're going to have 2 exocrines for sure. So let's do that. I'm going to delete the second Tyranifex for now. And that's at I have 1860 after that on my list that I have here. So that leaves us with a good Zoanthropes as anti-tank, Tyranifex as anti-tank as well, and then so on. So, and let me explain why I think we're going to drop the Zoanthropes here. Zoanthropes, I think, are very, very strong, even when you do the exocrine to reroll 1s to hit. So basically everything's going to hit because you're hitting on 2s and rerolling 1s. Here is the issue with Zoanthropes. 24-inch range, and they have a 5-inch movement speed, and that is it. I run them all the time, or I used to, but whenever I ran them, I always made sure that I had a walking Hive Tyrant. Now, in Vanguard lists, they don't really run walking Hive Tyrants. It's kind of just stuff is sent out in pods and just dealing with these things. So that's kind of my logic in dropping the Zoanthropes. We're going to drop the Zoanthropes right here. And let's see kind of where that shakes up our list. Dropping the Zoanthropes. And basically, I'm going to drop the Zoanthropes for a second Tyranifex here. And that is 1850, which means we have 150 points left. And in just kind of a review of where we are with this list. Oh, boy. So we're dropping Zoans. We still have the Leapers. We have Exocrine, Tyranofex. And these are both with the Rupture Cannons. And so that means we have 150 points to play with and make sure that CommunistColin, I think that's who it is still able to do his Gargant Jail. And I think you will find with 3 squads, you are still able to do that. But I would like to put a Lictor next. Boom. So that's going to be 2 Lictors. And you can do some pretty cool shenanigans with double Lictor. And then we are at 1910 here. Okay. So 1910, we can either put a Neuro Lictor, and that would perfectly round us out to 2,000 points. All right. And then that would be a list right there. Now, if we want to take in consideration and understand that CommunistColin really, really likes his Gargoyle and Gaunt Jail, something we could do is think about getting rid of 1 exocrine. And the reason is, if we really want to have the reroll 1s and everything, you put them in reserves, you have them come out, you shoot whatever is in the line of sight of that, and then they're fine. So if we do that, boop. Oh no, I just deleted the Hormigons instead of adding them. That's silly of me. Here we go. If we do that, duplicate, that's 1930. And then we have 70 points left over. That's with us having 2 Gargoyles, 2 Hormigons. we could do something like add another lictor, or, ooh, here's what I got. If you like jail kind of list, Von Ryan's Leapers are where it's at. Okay, so let me go back to this screen and we're going to wrap it up with this first army list and make sure that I have everything correct with what I got here on my phone as well. None of that changed. Gargoyle. And then we do 2 Hormagaunts because he's been having a great time with those. Biovore is still there, of course. Lictor. We added a Neurolictor. We did take out an Exocrine. This is to aid in the Gaunt Gargoyle jail. Okay. Because I probably would still keep, but you know, who knows. And then we have ×2. Boom. We have double Tyrannifex. I'm doing it backwards because this is weird. 2 Leapers. Tyranid Warriors, Neurolictor, Lictor, Gene Stealer, Exocrine Biovore, 2x10 Hormagaunts, and 2x10 Gargoyles, a Winged Prime, Winged Hive Tyrant, Neuro Tyrant, and I still think the Neuro Tyrant is good, even if you are doing no Zoanthropes. Cool. So, yes. No. Oh, thanks for hanging out in chat. Everybody's chilling. Again, I went through a move. You can tell I got like boxes over there. My Harridan's behind me, which is super sick. But apparently my entire computer's like set. I have to go in and reset OBS and everything. But here's why I will almost cut the Molochs all of the time if they're up here. I will try, you know, if you really, really want Molochs, I will keep the Molochs. But here, if you figure out, okay, so check it out. This brush cleaner is the range at which a Moloch can deep strike and trigger its 12 inches, right? So this outer rim is 12 inches. And you can only deep strike, of course, with a Moloch outside of 9. And if you can see this is, of course, not to scale. But if you can see this inner circle, pretend that that is 9 inches, all right? This outer circle is the only area, that 3 inches between 9.1 and 12, is the only area where units can be affected by the Moloch. And if you are a smart opponent and you are worried about a Moloch, you just put your stuff that you don't care about up front, and then you do 3.1 inches behind that for your important units. And in that case, they can't really touch any of your important units, and you have to send your Moloch out somewhere. In addition, there's like things like infiltrators and stuff that exist that kind of deter you from doing that. I also feel like Molochs, you want to have 2 or 0. And it's just kind of a thing where you want to kind of direct your efficiency in a way, or else it's probably not going to work too much. But that's kind of my opinion on Molochs. I made a video on Vanguard Onslaught specifically, and talking about it was like the Moloch Menace or something is what it was called. Check it out if you want to see me ramble about that in a more professionally recorded setting. It's there. But excellent, CommunistColin. Thank you for submitting your list, and I really appreciate your support for the channel. We're going to move on to our next army list, and we're going to get going. Oh, Hollow is in chat. Hollow, welcome. This is incredible. Guys, if you have not looked at the the community tab, we're going to go over Hollow 9515s, and let's see what he has to say. He says, this is for the memes. Might take it to the Cherokee Open. He has 2 Broodlords, a Neuro Tyrant, and I was like reading through this and I'm like, what do you mean? This is a pretty good start to a list. He has a Neuro Tyrant, Winged Hive Tyrant, Winged Tyranid Prime. Okay, everything's looking perfect so far. Biovore, very good. Gene Stealer, Lictor, Neurolictor, 6 Tyranid Warriors, and then check it out, folks. This man is doing 6 Tyrannocytes. Goodness gracious. Which I was like, okay, I found the meme. And you know, I'm gonna take a look at it and I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. But if we think about it, you can't really fix perfection, you know? And it's pretty good. You know, if you're wanting to do something where you have 6 Tyrannocytes, who's to stop you? And I certainly wouldn't be one to stop you. So yeah, dude. But here's what I would suggest. Okay, and if you're really wanting some suggestions, I think you cut 2 Tyrannocytes. 6 Tyrannocytes. Hollow, I heard tales of somebody who would have Tyrannocytes with like shot glasses in them last at a tournament before, and whenever anybody killed a Tyrannocyte, you would remove a Tyrannocyte from the from the Tyrannocyte and give it to them. If that was you, that's legendary. Okay, so hear me out. Here's why I think you cut 2 Tyrannocytes. Because what if you go second? What if you go second, Hollow? And if you go second, your opponent goes up the field and says, okay, now your Tyrannocytes are 9 inches back. Now, I know that Hollow, a man of such culture as yourself, is never going to go second. You will always go first because you're running 6 Tyrannocytes. So you will win, okay? I'm not going to argue with that. However, what if you do go second? And that's, I think we do keep the meme alive. And we have 4 Tyrannocytes, and it wasn't you, but it will be now. Hell yeah, dude. If we do 4 Tyrannocytes, and that gives us 215 points, and if we are not putting them in Tyrannocyte jail, we will put them in Gargoyle jail. And I kind of think that's where we go. So if we do 2 Gargoyle squads, then that is, we're at 1955. So we have 45 more points to put in. I don't even know at this point, because I don't really want to change anything else. Oh, what if we did? Okay, here's what we did. And I apologize, Hollow, if this is not a very thorough, in-depth army list review, because again, I'm going to say it. I can't beat perfection. 6 Tyrannocytes plus stuff is phenomenal. But if I were to change it to make it a little bit less Tyrannocyte worthy, I would cut 2, right? And then we do Gargoyle times 10. And then we do Hormigaunt times 10. Hormigaunt times 10. And that's what we would do. And that is 2,000 points. So we we switch from 2 Tyrannocytes to a Gargoyle squad and 2 Hormigaunt squads. Hollow, thank you, dude. It's incredible, man. The fact that Tyrannocytes have an 8-inch move really speaks to me. I'm honestly planning on picking up 1 or 2 boxes of Hive Guard when I start playing 2K games. Yes, I agree. Hive Guard maybe in Tyrannocytes could be cool. Hollow says, my only thing is if I go second was dropping them back in an advanced charge. Oh, they do have the keyword, and you can advance and charge with Tyrannocytes. Oh, boy. Again, Hollow, just, I mean, if you're advancing and charging with Tyrannocytes, nobody can argue with you. Again, that is perfection. I love it. Please play some games with it. Post in our Discord. Tell us about how it's going with you. And I would love to see some pictures and stuff of what that board state looks like. But hell yeah, dude. Incredible army list idea. Thanks for stopping by. And I'm glad you were able to hear it. Zooming right along. Next up, we have Rigidbearhead. Okay. Very cool. I'm not sure about the user list name, but it's okay. Anyways, this is my 12-year-old kid's list. He's building a demon army, so the Tyranids are going to be mine. Incredible. So it looks like his kid is playing Tyranids, but he's switching to demons, and so he's trying to look and take over some stuff. And the list title is Wet Willies. Okay. Cool. Excellent. So let's get in. It's Invasion Fleet. Okay, a man after my own heart. I see. We start with the Death Leaper, Neurotyrant, Tervagon, Swarm Lord, Winged Hive Tyrant. We got 2 Hive Tyrants, guys. Sheesh. 10-man Termagant, 10-man Termagant, Biovore, Excrin, Neurolictor, Tyrannofex, Zoanthropes. Dude, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not bad at all. Okay? And I don't hate it at all. It looks like we have 20 points to spend. Oh, Hollow. No reason to apologize. No reason to apologize at all. That was a gift for all of our eyes. I see there's a lot of people in here. 30 people in chat, I believe. If we could get some likes on this stream, I know this is a little bit scuffed because I had to restart the stream because of my resolution scale. But if you like the stream, like the stream. You know, that's it. Okay, I do have this list loaded in as well. This is Rigidbearhead. Beautiful. Okay, so we do have 20 points left over. So Rigid Bear, I think I kind of have like a weird rule of thumb where you run one Hive Tyrant. Unless you're going like heavy into a specific SKU, you're going to run 1 Hive Tyrant. Either Swarm Lord, either the Walking Hive Tyrant, or either the Flyer. Now, the idea that I have going forward with this list, I think we actually are going to run Swarm Lord. So let's try and build this list a little bit more and try and cater towards Swarm Lord. And if you're dead set on the Winged Hive Tyrant, sorry, you know, but that just my notion and how I'm feeling right now is I think I'm going to cut the Winged Hive Tyrant. Okay, so that means we're at 1765. The very next thing we are going to do is we're going to switch scenes, and then we are going to really make sure we have use of this beautiful baby girl right here. We need to make sure that this Tervagon is doing some cool things. So what we are going to do with this is we're going to make this 20 Termagants instead of 60. And you know what? We're going to do it twice. That's for a couple of reasons. One, we want to make sure that our Tervagon is doing Tervagon things. And then we're going to kind of try and build a castle around the Swarm Lord and see if we can do something cool. I have not necessarily built or played around a list like this, but I definitely think it has some merit. Okay, so the combo with Invasion Fleet Nids, with doing like this kind of Termagant jail, this swarm that takes over the board, is you're gonna want to have maybe a Tervagon if you're feeling spicy. I haven't run it too much, but this man had a Tervagon in his list. He wants to run it. That's what I'm assuming. You're going to want to have some kind of CP regen. Normally, it's the Walking Hive Tyrant for me. With this list is going to be Swarm Lord, because you're going to want to regrow your Termagants as often as possible. You can double stack it with the Tervagon, which would be super, super sweet. And I think that would be a very interesting build to go for. Rigidbearhead, if that's not the build that you're going for, I apologize. But I think it's a cool thing to at least think about. And then after that, we already have the Zoanthropes that are going to allow for the 6-up invuln on everything, in addition with the 5-up feel no pain from Invasion Fleet Detachment is very good. So if we put the next unit that I'm really excited for, Venomthropes, which is going to allow for your big squad of Termagants to be even that much durable, and you stack it with the 6-up invuln from the Zoanthropes right here, and then with the -1 to hit and cover, that's actually pretty tanky. And I actually had a buddy of mine that used to run those quite a bit. It's pretty strong. Okay, so now we have 1955, which is a very awkward price point for Tyranids. And so next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here. And I forgot that the Neurotyrant has Alien Cunning. Sorry, we're gonna take Neurotyrant Alien Cunning out, which will give us 1925, which means we have 75 points left over. very round number, and 75 points is actually really good for Tyranids. There's a couple of things that I think you could do with this. This list does not have any lictors. Okay, so a couple of things that you could have on your idea plate is you could have a lictor, your first lictor. It might be a good idea to kind of cram one or two more of those in, which would be phenomenal. But something that I think would be interesting to try, because this list does have board presence and it does have board control. However, I think a unit that would be great for it would be Raveners. And in this moment right now, as I am streaming in front of a bunch of people, I'm thinking I'm going to lean towards Raveners. And that's how I would round up this list. Rigidbearhead, thank you for submitting a list. Really appreciate the support and everything and hanging out. Let me know what you think, and if you're going towards a different build, that's awesome too. Whichever build you think you're going towards, I would caution about going with 2 Hive Tyrants. I think you either choose the Swarm Lord or the Winged Hive Tyrant. Now, if you flipped it the other way and you went Winged Hive Tyrant instead of the Swarm Lord, you would get the free CP regen, which would be great. Oh, I didn't know that bubble would do that. But you would get the free CP regen, and you would be able to get Paroxysm, which would help your Termagants from melee armies and everything, and that'd be pretty cool. Something to think about, but I definitely think you probably are spending just a bit too much points in the Hive Tyrant range, which, it's very tempting because Hive Tyrants are very cool. However, I do think they end up being just a little bit too much. Xenotail, loving the content, started collecting units after playing Space Marine 2. Amazing. The game made me fall in love with NIDS, split a Leviathan box with some friends to get myself started. Hell yeah, that's incredible. That's what's up. Yeah, everybody needs to crowdfund Hollow's list. The W&W community comes together to try and buy 6 Tyrannocytes. I don't even own 1 Tyrannocytes. I will be honest. Sirloin, I just found a couple Tyrannocytes on eBay. Hey, Hollow. eBay. Sirloin's got you covered. Okay, sweet. Moving right along. The next list is MADD KIRO Gaming. So let's take a look at what he's got. I believe I also have this one entered as well. He says he is still trying variations around Invasion Fleet. Awesome. You know what, Maddie? Hey, me too, dude. That's exactly what I'm doing. Okay. So, it's Invasion Fleet, 2K list. Perfect. We have Broodlord, we have Hive Tyrant with Perfectly Adapted. All right. I don't want to get on a tangent, but mathematically speaking, people have done the numbers, and there's a bunch of people in our Discord also that have talked about this, about the perfectly adapted Hive Tyrant versus the adapted biology Hive Tyrant. If you think about it, with the Hive Tyrant's 4-up invuln save, and with the lower number of shots and everything that the Hive Tyrant has, there is actually a really strong case that you don't need adapted biology, and you can just take perfectly adapted, and it's pretty close to the same amount that you would have of resiliency, because having a free reroll on a 4-up invuln is really strong. And then you could have an additional free reroll on that 4-up invuln by using his free CP strat, or just spending a CP to reroll his 4-up invuln. So using perfectly adapted, there's actually a good chance where you could have 2 rerollable 4-up invulns. That's pretty good. But however, I do think there is a higher skill floor with that. I definitely think in order to use that, you have to be more careful with your Hive Tyrant, or really only commit it to places where you think it's going to be on the advantage defensive-wise. And that's one of the reasons why I just kind of like dummy mode, slap the 5-up, feel no pain on the Hive Tyrant all the time, and he's great. And then he has a 4-up invuln, or a 4-up feel no pain. But I don't think it's wrong to have perfectly adapted instead of the adaptive biology. Okay, rant over. All right, back to the list. We didn't get far there, did we? Next up, we have the Neurotyrant. Very good. Swarm Lord. Excellent. And we're probably going to choose one or the other Hive Tyrant here for me when I'm rebuilding this list. Winged Tyranid Prime with Alien Cunning. Interesting. Let's see if he has Tyranid Warriors. Okay, so Battle Line, Gargoyle, Termagant. Cool. Biovores, Gene Stealer, Double Lictor, Triple Lictor, awesome. Maliceptor, Ripper Swarm, okay. Screamer Killer, Tyrannifex, Zoanthropes. All right, so right out the gate, when I'm looking at this list, I have two goals. Okay, the first goal is we want to kind of trim the fat of stuff that maybe is not quite gelling and fixing. So I'm going to make a couple of cuts just right off the bat and see where that lands us. The first cut that I'm going to do is I am going to cut. Let me see if I can pull up his list. Here it is. I'm going to cut the Ripper Swarm. They just don't do enough right now. I think they are cool. I remember them back from 9th edition. But I just don't think that they're necessarily something that we need to include in the list at this time. And since the Tyranid Prime is just chilling in here by himself, we're going to really want to try and focus our points in a way where maybe we have. And if we really want to use Alien Cunning, then we can put it on something else. But we are going to also cut the Winged Tyranid Prime. So let's cut that. We cut the Ripper. We cut the Winged Tyranid Prime. And then the next thing before I look at anything else, I'm going to want to upgrade the Zoanthrope squad to 6 Zoanthropes. Okay, and then after that, we're going to take a look at where this list is and how many points we have left. And we are also going to probably cut Swarmlord, but let's take a look. Times 6 there. Boop. So we're at 1965, and let me switch scenes so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so going from the top. All right, and let's go ahead and cut Swarmlord now, because I think with the Zoanthropes and everything, Hive Tyrant Castle could be pretty good. So we'll cut Swarmlord. I really like Swarmlord too. However, I just don't think he is worth his points just right now. I really believe he is close, but he's not quite there. So that means we're at 1725, which means we have 270 points to play with. Okay, excellent. So now I feel like we go around and we upgrade some of our units that maybe are not quite doing what we want. And one of those is we're going to upgrade this Termagant squad right here to a Gargoyle squad. So we'll have 2 of these. And then we are going to upgrade this Termagant squad to a Hormagant squad. And let me do this real quickly, and then I will explain why. Okay, and that leaves us with 245 points. Okay, so I'm saying okay a lot too. I apologize. I get stuck in a rut sometimes. I like Termagants. I think they are fine. I think for 60 points, you get 10 models, and they have a really cool reactive move. In addition, they also have 2 OC per. So if somebody's not playing super accurate and they get too close, then you can scoot on to their objective and take primary away from them, which they probably originally thought that was just perfectly safe. However, you could just advance and charge for 5 more points and have 30 attacks with Hormagants with AP 1, Strength 3, maybe Strength 4, and maybe kill like scouts or something and then take the point with that. So if I have room to find the 5 extra points, I'm gonna find 5 extra points. So that is why I'm changing the 10 Termagants, or both of those Termagants, to Hormagants. And if you don't know why I like Gargoyles, please watch any of our streams that I'm playing, because I do terrible things with my Gargoyles to my buddies. All right, cool. So we're at 245 points. So let's kind of look at the meat and potatoes of this list now. Biovore, Gene Stealers, Triple Lictor, Maliceptor, Screamer Killer, Tyrannifex. How many Exocrines do we? Oh, we don't have Exocrines. Okay. I think that kind of seals up the list. You know, I'm okay with the Screamer Killer. I actually ran a Screamer Killer for a second. I put him in reserves, and you just bring him in. You can rapid ingress him if you can, and then he just is kind of a mean beat stick for people to mess with. So we're gonna leave him for now, but I think we definitely try to round out this list by just jumping in 2 Exocrines to help with or we could do a Tyranid effect. Let's see. 1 exocrine. Okay, so 2 exocrines does put us over by 25 points. 25 points, which I think we did trim pretty much everything. Which what you could do is you could bring this back to a Termagant squad, which would be 10 times 60, which would get that 5, and then you could delete this gargoyle and then make it a Hormigant, which I think would be okay. It is a little bit awkward, but let's see how the entire list shapes up after we do that. And I do understand that a lot of people, you guys are playing with what you have and what your collection is. So I do feel bad at just like just tearing everything apart, just all right. Anyways, so I'm going to make sure that my list on my phone is accurate as well. We have Broodlord. We have the Hive Tyrant with Perfectly Adapted. Great choice. I think it's totally fine. We have Gargoyles, Hormigants, Termagants. We have Biovore. Oh, and then I forgot to put 2 exocrines here. Gene Stealer, Lictor. This is another point. You could maybe trim a Lictor for something. I think 2 Lictors is probably fine. 3 Lictors is beautiful. But then we have the Malceptor, Screamer Killer, Tyrant Effects, and 6 Zoanthropes. That's kind of my first instinct of what I would do. Yep. Oh, I see you're talking about. Oh, yeah, you're here. Sorry, I should be checking. I see 3 Lictors and I'm immediately on board. I agree, Friedrich, man. And I use 1 Lictor as Action Monkey, 2 Lictors as Free Rapid Ingress Assassins. That's very, very cool. I love the Free Rapid Ingress. Yes, if you want to post your list, go over the community tab on WNW. I'm going to edit the title, whatever. It says something from a long time ago. Go ahead and post your list. Also, if you would like to be a member and maybe push your list to the front of the line, because it's like 30 lists deep right now. You guys have been kind of going crazy for this, which I love. But if you want your list to be kind of more up in the forefront of the line, consider being a member. It's going to buy me and maybe one of my buddies at WNW a cup of coffee. We'd really appreciate it. And it'll get your list up right ahead. But yes, I agree, Maddie. Lots of models from Leviathan box that I do see. And Screamer Killer is not bad. The Neurotyrant's not bad as well. So there's some really good stuff there. Yep. Cool. Yeah, and daily stories, I'm so sorry that it's not linkable right now. It is kind of, I guess, I could set up an easier way to do it, but it is in the community tab of WNW, Wednesday Night Warhammer. Just go ahead and check it out right there. Post it in there. And then a day before our list review show on Mondays, I will go through and I'll take about 7 of them. I'll remove them and I'll add them to my page that I have here, and we'll get you going. But yeah, if you'd like to support us, as well as putting yourself a little bit forward head in the Army List review show, consider being a member. It's pretty cool. You also get our Tyranid Tactics videos. I always put them out just a little bit early for members. So if that's something you're interested in, consider. But plug over. All right, moving on. Thank you, Maddie, again, and I love that you're here in chat. It's very cool to have you around. Spill nukan, I think. Hi, I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are around my 2 different lists. Maybe you could say if you would make suggestions around these 2 lists, strengths and weaknesses. Okay, so I did look at both of his lists, and I really do appreciate that you posted a couple of different options. However, because our time is kind of limited, I don't want the stream to go too long. I did choose one of the lists, and I chose the second list for us to look at and review today. Dominant. I do not have any Crusher Stampede lists. There's a couple in the queue. I think I'll do my best to have one next week, but no promises. But I would love to review some Crusher Stampede stuff. Okay. Vanguard Onslaught. Love it. We have the Broodlord. Hunting Grounds. This is a phenomenal enhancement, by the way. If you have points for it, I highly recommend Hunting Grounds. Broodlord with Neuronode. This one is good. It's okay. I do like the redeploy, but it's not nearly. I guess maybe I'm just still a little salty from how good it was before. Death Leaper, and then the classic Chameleonic Wing and Hive Timer, which is phenomenal. We have one 10-man Gargoyle. We have 2 Exocrines. We have 2 10-man Gene Stealers to go with Broodlords. We have 2 Lictors. Uh-oh. Okay, chat. Do I leave the Molochs in for this list? Should I leave the Molochs in? Let me know, chat, what you are thinking, and then I will react appropriately. Okay, going back to it while chat takes a second to catch up. He has a Neurolictor. He has a Norn Emissary. Ooh, I'm gonna get my Norn real quick. Give me 1 second. No Molochs. There is 2. Yeah, that is a good point. Hey, everybody, I just like this guy. Look how beautiful this Norn Emissary is. Isn't that incredible? I did get this commission. I don't want to advertise too much, but we are sponsored by Your Next Cool Mini. Check it out in the description if it's there. It's probably not there yet, but Your Next Cool Mini, they did a great job, and they'll do a great job for you as well. Moloch, stay. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna fix up this list. But we're gonna keep the Molochs. Chat has said so we're gonna keep it. All right. However, since we are getting rid of the Molochs, since we are keeping the Molochs, we are going to get rid of the Norn Emissary. I am sorry. I just showed you mine that I really love, but we are going to get rid of the Norn Emissary for sure. And that's going to give us a boatload of points to mess with. And this list, I believe, was already at 1985, so it wasn't perfect already. So that means this list is going to be down to 1710. Yeah, Moloch stands for the win. We're gonna leave the Moloch in for sure. it's staying, chat. Don't worry, it's okay. Cool. All right. So, but we are definitely getting rid of the Norn Emissary. We just have to. And then I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there's something missing that normally auto goes right here in every Tyranid list. And this Tyranid list, I would not be doing it justice if we didn't do the same for that. Okay. So you really, Biovores, if you're watching my stuff, I'm going to say you need a Biovore. Just the Spore Mine, Advanced in Charge block, the movement block, all of the, it's just really good. I definitely think it is one of the most efficient models that we have. And it's great. And I know it doesn't score secondaries like it used to, but it still definitely scores. Okay, cool. So we have double Moloch. And I think the way to help out Molochs is by putting things in jail. And if you're not familiar with that term, that is basically putting a unit or a set of models up at the front and just kind of keeping your opponent there, okay? I do this all the time with gargoyles. If you check out our live streams, I just push my gargoyles up. Nobody can move past them, and then they just kind of stay where I want them, the units that are there. With Vanguard Onslaught, something that you can do to put things in jail is Von Ryan's Leapers. And so what we are going to do here, I think he has 1 3-man already. Oh, does he not? Okay, sweet. So what we're going to do from the get-go is we're going to do 2 3-man Von Ryan's Leapers. Okay, so 3 times Leapers, 3 times Leapers. And that is going to be 150 points. But I think it is totally fine. And let me put this into my phone real quick, and then I will explain. Oh, they also went down in points too. All right. Okay, so Von Ryan's Leapers, they're only 70 points, and they got buffed from the MFN. So since they got buffed, they must be great now, right? No, but they are pretty good. So what you do is you string them out. They're 3 40mm bases. One, they're going to screen out your opponent's infiltrate as well. Okay, so they won't be able to infiltrate, and then they'll be right there. Now, they're 9 inches away. They have a 10-inch move with advance and charge. It's pretty good. So because their movement is 10 inches, you could actually try and finagle and put them behind cover so that even if you don't go first, which you'll go first like Hollow, even if you don't go first, then there's your opponent kind of has to commit in a way in order to actually kill your 70-point unit. That's pretty good. So after you're able to do that, if you go first, then you can kind of just move those 2-3-man Von Ryans up and block them with Von Ryans, while the rest of your army stages behind it. Like you got your Gene Stealers, you got your Gargoyles, you got your Exocrines. I think you had 2. Yeah, 2 Exocrines. And then you're able to just kind of move in a way that prevents your opponent from doing anything else. Excellent. Okay, cool. So I like that so far. Now we're at 1900, so we have 100 points to play with. Let's take a look. Gene Stealers, Exocrine, Gargoyles. Okay, this is something that I'm probably going to just do this. I can just copy it instead of typing. Well, now that I did that, it probably took me longer than if I just typed it. Okay, so that's going to give us 15 points, which is not like super exciting, but I definitely think having 2 Gargoyles in is going to help us. Then let's go back up to... I think with the 2 Von Ryans, there's a really strong case for us to keep the Neuro Node. Oh, this was supposed to have Chameleonic. Okay, so with that change and me forgetting that the Hive Tyrant had Chameleonic, then that is 2k points on the nose for me. So just going back over and reviewing the list, what we thought about, we have Broodlord with Hunting Grounds, Broodlord with Neuro Node, Death Leaper, Winged Hive Tyrant, Chameleonic, Gargoyle, Biovore, Exocrine, Gene Stealer, Lictor, Moloch, Neurolictor, Leapers, Ravener. All right, so I'm going to check in with chat for a second. And then I'm also going to kind of think about, hey, what's up, Kyle? It's good to see you, man. So thinking about why I think this build is kind of better if you're doing Moloch. Moloch stands are out in force today. It's fine. But what you can do, Von Ryan's Leapers go up, they screen, and they can move block your opponent in a way where your Moloch can probably maybe pop up behind cover so that it can dish out mortals, and then it can go back in. And then while it's doing that, your next line of Gargoyles comes up and move blocks, and it kind of allows your Molochs to do like this indirect fire kind of thing on your turn, or even if you rapid ingress them, I believe. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then also your Gene Stealers can go up and move block by just charging and killing things. You know, deleting units is also a form of move blocking because they cannot move anymore if they are dead. So let me know what you think about that. Also, if you like the stream, it's right there. It helps out a whole bunch, and it costs you nothing, I promise. All right, going back, I think we have 2 more lists to go. So let's zoom on. Solomonsia. All right, this guy's list I was actually very, very excited to see. And if Kyle's in chat still, I think he'll be excited to see it as well. So let's check it out. It's Invasion Fleet. We have a Hive Tyrant. I don't believe any enhancement, and he's got a Stranglethorn. Sheesh. Okay. Monsters Scything Towns. We'll talk about that in a second. Neuro Tyrant. 5 Gene Stealers. 4 Hormagaunts. 4 just by 10, so 260 points. 320 Blob Termagants. Oh my gosh. 1 Biovore. Lictor. Venomthropes. 3 Exocrine. 2 Tyrannofex. Okay. All right. So very cool stuff. I think, what's up, Kyle? I think the first thing that we are going to want to do with this kind of list is we need to understand how many of these Gaunt squads that we actually need and how many of them are actually going to be more like chaff that is kind of a little bit left over. Whenever I build a list for Tyranids, I'm always trying to think about denying primary from my opponent for 3 turns. And if you can do that, then you're going to win primary pretty well. So that means we don't necessarily need 60 Termagants and 40 Hormagaunts. Okay. Now I'm not going to decimate it. However, I definitely think that we're going to go down to 2. We're gonna still keep the meme alive a little bit, you know, even though it's not really a meme, they're pretty darn good. We'll go to 2 20-mans. So this will be at 240. And then we are going to go down to 2 10-mans. So that should be 160, 130. Yes. And this is where I got myself in trouble last time because I don't believe I have this list loaded up. Okay. So that means we have 240 plus 130. We have 370 points to play with. Chat, please double check me for that. And yes, Kyle has keyed in on it because he's actually played a version of this list quite a bit. So with 370 points, and just to remind you, we just got rid of 60 Termagants and 20 Hormagaunts. We are going to slam dunk 6 times Zoanthropes. And I just think that's something that you have to do. So that's going to bring us down to 170. And I actually think this list is going to shape up pretty quickly with my next suggestion. And I will talk about why. There's a couple things we can do, but my first main instinct, and some people might disagree with me, is we just do a Malceptor to shore up that last 170 points. Okay, so here's how I would go about this list. And there's something that we are missing. We're missing like a couple of lictors and maybe like Von Rhines or something. I would like for this list to kind of just swarm the board, have a couple of waves of Termagants and the Hormagaunts. Maybe the Hormagaunts go up front and then they lock things down. And then the Termagants are really annoying because of the lethals are from the Hive Tyrant and because they're going to be way more durable than you think. The way that you can string out the Termagants as well is going to allow for the Venomthropes to basically touch any squad they want. So you're going to have -1 hit, and you're going to have cover pretty much all the time. And then with the 5-up Feel No Pain that you'll be popping from the Hive Tyrant all the time, the Termagants are going to be ridiculously durable. And your opponent is probably actually not going to kill them as quickly as possible. And Kyle just had a great recommendation in the chat. Thank you, Kyle. I think I actually agree with you. I think we do probably go down to 1 Exocrine, so 405. So that's 230. Oh no, 270. And I apologize if my math is a little bit off. So that means we have 130. And we could do, does he already have Raveners? So we could do something like a second Lictor and then Raveners. And then that would definitely sure up this list. That's kind of where I'm leaning immediately with this list. Again, I think it is super cool. So let me run it down again, and I'll talk about that Stranglethorn option in just a moment. Okay, so if we go back up to the top, Hive Tyrant, Stranglethorn, Monstricide, and Talons. I'm going to be honest. I know that this unit is very good at killing Marines. I just think the Bone Sword and the Venom Cannon are just strictly better. I think Stranglethorn is okay because of the 2 damage, and then you will probably have a higher rate of fire, and you might hit more. But the AP1 is just something that I'm not interested in having with kind of like a mini gunboat like the Hive Tyrant. You're going to want AP2 at least, and the Venom Cannon is just right in that slot, and it does it for you. So that's what I would do. I would probably do Venom Cannon and Bone Sword Lash Rip. That's just, I don't know. That's kind of what I've been running with, and I've been really happy with it. The Neurotyrant, who is now going to hang out with the Zoanthropes. Another thing that I was talking about with like stringing back for the Venomthropes to be able to touch other things. If you're running a 6-man blob Zoanthropes, then you can also string them back and make sure that everything has the 6-up invul, which is actually very easy to do. Ooh, I forgot about this. I would probably cut just the 5-man Gene Stealers for more mission play. But honestly, there's also a case that skirmishing 5-man Gene Stealers to prevent your opponent from getting places that they really, really want to, then you can do that. Kyle says adaptive is a must include. Yeah, you could probably cut these and put maybe like a Pyrovore in. Actually, I do like that. And then you would have 15 left over. So cut these, put a Pyrovore in, and then put the adaptive on. That would be pretty sweet. I can see that. But we have two 10-man Hormagaunts, two 20-man Termagants, which were very cool. I've yet to play this build, and I actually really want to, so I need to get on that. Biovore, Lictor, Maliceptor, Venomthrope, Exocrine, Tyrannofex, Rupture Cannon, Raveners ×3, 6 Zoanthropes. I think this list is sick. I think if you do that, it is very, very, very cool. And I think you could surprise some opponents with how good this primary play, how good the secondary play, and how just resilient these little bugs are. So try a build out like this. It is very cool. It is viable. And then I think you'll enjoy it. All right, I'm going to check real quick how many lists we have left. Oh, we are to our last list. So before we conclude, thank you everybody for being here. It's been a wonderful stream. I apologize that it started off kind of weird, but we're here. Next week it will be better, I promise. But one more time, if you want to submit your list, go ahead into the community page and our YouTube channel. There's a post right there. Submit your list, and then I will get around to it when I'm able to. I'm hopefully doing these weekly. For the next couple of weeks, I will. But we'll see. The holidays might make my schedule a little bit weird. One more thing, if you would like to contribute, maybe buy us a cup of coffee or something as part of being a member, it is going to put your list up the ladder a little bit more, just so we can get to it a little bit quicker. If you have like a GT or an RTT that you really want me to take a look at for next week, consider doing that. It really helps us out, and it's also going to help you out with your list as well. Like, comment, subscribe. That's it. But let's get to our last list before we wrap things up. All right, Dan Hunter 7839. Synaptic Nexus. Incredible. I forgot. Sorry, everybody. Here's mine. I would prefer 2 Maliceptors, but don't have the model yet. Understandable. Most of us don't. Or, hey, you can print them. It's okay. Well, I didn't say that. Okay, cool. We have a Broodlord here. Very interesting choice for Synaptic Nexus. Let's see where he takes it. Hive Tyrant and a Neurotyrant with Power of the Hive Mind. Incredible. Very cool. Then we have Gargoyles, Hormagaunts. Cool. Biovore, Exocrine, 5-man Gene Stealers, a Lictor, 1 Maliceptor, Neurogaunts, Norn Emissary, and Zoanthropes. Neat. This is kind of an interesting build. Okay. So, Broodlord plus Gene Stealers, that's going to be 155 points. I honestly I'm not in love with the Broodlord plus Gene Stealers. Well, let's talk about the big scheme of the list. What is this list trying to do first? So it's got the Hive Tyrant, Neurotyrant, Gargoyle, Hormagaunt, Biovore, Exocrine, Maliceptor, Neurogaunts, Norn Emissary, and Zoanthropes. Okay, so this is trying to castle a little bit, and it is trying to shoot. That's kind of what it looks like to me. So a couple things that I think we're missing for castling up and shooting. I think we want at least 1 Pyrovore, probably. I think we want a little bit more move blocking shenanigans so that people are not able to get to our castle too easily. And then we probably want some kind of maybe counterpunch, and maybe that's what he was trying to do with the Gene Stealers. But I've never tried Gene Stealers in Synapse. I just don't think they don't make full use of the detachment. Okay, so 2 things that come out to me real quickly. The Neurogaunts, I'm just not super excited about them. I know some people really like them. I feel like they can be good. But if we get rid of the Neurogaunts, here, that's probably what I'm going to do. And that would give me 195 points. Because we do Neurogaunts, which is that'd be 45 plus 75, which is 120, plus 80, which would be 200. Okay, so we got 200 points by doing that. So let's do that. And I'm sorry if I just cut any of your pet your pet dudes, but let's see what shakes out for that. Okay, so we have an even 200 200 points to play with. Sick. Okay, another thing that I personally am worried about is action play with this list. We do have a Lictor, we do have one Hormagaunt, one Gargoyle Squad, but I don't quite believe that that is enough. Excrin, Lictor. I would like to have 2 Lictors, but that would be at 140, and then it's kind of awkward. You know what? I think I really, 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 really like Tyranid and Synaptic Nexus. If you haven't checked out my video, I hate to just say go watch my video, but my deep dive on Synaptic Nexus, Irresistible Will goes insane with Tyranid because they can reroll 1s to hit and they can reroll 1s to wound, and a lot of times Tyranid are able to hit on 2s. They're able to hit or wound on 2s as well because their gun is so stupid strong. So it's a very good combo. Something that I would be interested in doing myself here is having 2 Tyranid and then kind of running with that. So I do like the double Norn, but if we're having a hard time getting hold of Maleceptors because they literally don't exist in the wild, here's what I would do. I would cut 1 Norn. This is going to be at 475 points right here. And that's how much we have left over. And my idea behind that, and I have beautiful Norn. I love playing my Norn as much as I can. However, whenever I'm playing a Norn, I like to have my Norn buddy up with a Maleceptor. And that's because then it gets to this level of resiliency that is really, really, really annoying. If you just park your Maleceptor and a Norn on the same objective, it is very, very tough for your opponent to kill. Because not only is your Norn going to have a 5-up Feeling of Pain, it's going to have a 2-up, 4-up with the Arm of Contempt possibility. It's also going to be -1 to hit and possibly -1 to wound because of the Maleceptor. And then you're stacking a level of durability that really kind of prevents your opponent from activating a wave where they want. However, if you don't have 2 Maleceptors, then just do the combo once, and then it will be fine as well. So we have 475 points. What I would like to do is put 2 Tyranid in, which that's going to be 190 points times 2. I'm on the wrong screen. We are going to go with the Rupture Cannon because if you have not played with the Rupture Cannon in Synaptic Nexus, it is very good. So 380. Uh-oh. I'm going to go to my calculator real quick. My apologies. Make sure I did that right. Times 2 is 380. Then 475 minus 380 equals 95 points. Okay, so that means we have 95 points. That's really funny. I just put Tex. Man, what would the world do if we had 2 Texases? That might be, the whole world might be too small for 2 Texases. All right, we got 95 points to play with, which is pretty cool. So what I would do then is I would probably copy and paste this. Boop. We have 35 points left over. So we could upgrade that. How much is Synaptic Control for an enhancement? Let's see if I have, oh, here it is. Synaptic Control is 20 points. That might, so we have 95 points. After we put that, we have 35 points. I'm just writing it out just to make sure that I know stuff. And then if we were to do 20 points to upgrade, that means we would have 15 points left over, which is an awkward amount. Jeez. What could we do? I don't know. At that point, I think you kind of shuffle around enhancements. Either you put Power of the Hive Mind onto here, or maybe you put Synaptic Control so that you have a little bit extra. But I don't think 15 points. Obviously you want to shuffle things around to make sure that you are not just like 15 points off. But it's not necessarily the end of the world. What we could do, we could upgrade one of these to a Ravener squad. You know what? That might be kind of cool. I'm actually a pretty large Ravener stan. And some are large Moloch stands. Really like Raveners. Okay, so going through the list again, and again, this is just kind of my first thoughts. If you don't agree, that's totally cool. That's awesome. Post in the comments what you think you would do with each of these lists. We have the Hive Tyrant, and maybe it has the Synaptic Control. We have the Neuro Tyrant, Power of the Hive. Ooh, actually, what we could do. No, we kind of want an advanced charge. I was thinking maybe trade it for the Winged Hive Tyrant, but it's fine. We have the Neuro Tyrant, who's going to be chilling with the Zoanthropes, which would be great. We have 2 Gargoyle Squad. One of them is lazily typed. We have Biovore, 2 Exocrines, 1 Lictor, 1 3-man Ravener, Maleceptor, which I think a 1 of Maleceptor is not terrible, honestly. We have a Norn Emissary, which is very cool, Zoanthropes, and then 2 times T-Fex, and then we're going to have the Rupture Cannon, of course. Awesome. And I think I would play that. I would be happy with that. Maybe, yeah, you are kind of missing the second Maleceptor, but honestly, if you buddy up the Maleceptor with the Norn Emissary, it's fine. It's okay. Okay, sweet. I believe that was our 7th list. Awesome. Again, I apologize for the beginning weird other stream that didn't go off because of the bitrate and everything. But thanks for everybody for hanging out for our 2nd episode of our Army list review. Go ahead into the community page. I've said it a couple of times. I'll say it a couple more times. And post your list. I'd love to take a look at it. If you're interested in my thoughts, then I am very interested in sharing them with you. That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And I will not see you Wednesday, but I'll see you very soon. Take it easy.